I can't believe we actually have to cancel Keanu Reeves. True story. Meet Evan Weber, an architect and happily married man. And that's his wife, Karen. Ignore the name. She's not your typical Karen. This one is a talented artist and a mother of 2 children. It seems that they're trying to make a third one when the kids enter the room to congratulate the man on Father's Day. Come on kids, didn't we tell you parents' room is for parents? Look at this desperate guy. He hasn't had any action for 3 weeks now and will have to wait even more. When a man is feeling sussy, you know something terrible will happen. Evan has the house all to himself and his dog Monkey on Father's Day weekend because he has to work and has a physical therapy appointment due to a shoulder injury. Meanwhile, his wife and children go on a family-planned beach trip. She leaves their assistant Lewis in charge of her sculpture, which needs to be moved to an art gallery. Alone in his beautiful, expensive home, what will he do? For me, it would mean pizza, 24-hour session in CSGO, and black and yellow YouTube. All that without the expensive house though. But Evan decides to finish his house project. Boring. Oh wait, maybe it won't be so boring after all. A glass of wine, loud music, and a bit of grass for inspiration. Light up. But there's one thing missing. 2 young, wet. Okay, I can't finish the sentence. But you get the idea. Turns out Genesis the brunette and Belle the blonde are looking for the address of a party. Their phone died and the taxi driver dropped them off randomly. And they've been walking around for half an hour now. Lonely, desperate, young. As they have no communication and don't remember numbers, Evan allows them to use the internet to find the party's host. Once they find the right address, Evan calls an Uber driver for them. What would you know? The closest driver will take 45 minutes to arrive. Meanwhile, the girls make themselves at home, slightly flirting with Evan, who's apparently not a stranger to communicating with strange teens. The girls ask permission to dry their clothes because there's nothing wrong with being in your birthday suit in an unknown man's house. Meanwhile, Evan puts Genesis's phone in a bowl of rice to dry it out. Nah man, trust me, it doesn't work. I tried it after I've dropped the phone in a toilet. I had to buy a new one. Doesn't help that I pissed on it. And the rice tasted funny after too. The girls enjoy some hot tea while Evan plays a few of his old vinyl records from when he was a disc jockey. Evan reveals he's 43 and the girls admire his shape. Classic clap me now moment. But Evan remains cold as a blade, nervously distancing himself from the fresh meat while he keeps slipping in his hands. Slowly, the conversation turns to their opinions about human polygamy, and Evan starts to lose some control. Who wouldn't when these baddies are sharing their sussy stories with you? They reveal to Evan they are flight attendants and how they clap a new man in every city they fly to. That's an achievement to share with your grandchildren. Sorry, not being judgmental here, just trying to stay positive. Genesis goes to the bathroom while Belle rocks some Spanish music, and Evan tries to impress her more with his DJ skills. Belle almost kisses Evan when the Uber arrives. Darn, always on time. Belle goes to Genesis while Evan takes their clothes from the dryer. But where are these naughty girls? Hiding in the bathroom. Get in, Evan. They're waiting for you. Evan finds them in the bathroom. The poor man tries to convince them to leave, but yeah, we're just gonna skip that part. Moving on. The following day, Evan finds the girls eating breakfast and watching minute movies. Hell yeah. And they're not even thinking about leaving. Can't blame them. The last episode was indeed a bomb. Evan loses his patience and offers to drive them home. The girls aren't that enthusiastic about it. They haven't been home for years now. Interesting. Where did they live? Probably nomads going from one man to the next. Why do I even ask? Then Evan gets a call from his wife, while the girls try to interrupt him in ways that I can't even begin to describe. It's highly effective. Evan desperately tries to get the girls out of his house. He barely makes them get dressed. Whoa, it's the opposite when I'm with the girls. No idea why Evan is even pissed so much. He gets outside to drive them out and suddenly sees how they vandalize his wife's sculpture. Evan tries to threaten the girls by calling the police, but they reveal a shocking truth. They are definitely not old enough for this ride. The ride being Evan. The news is shocking. Guess the flight attendant story was a lie too. Shocked, EDP445 over here realizes the whole cake party was made up to get him in bed and tries to bribe the girls, but they refuse to take his money. Vivian, a friend of Karen, stops by to give Evan a relaxing massage and heal his shoulder. But then Genesis comes out and Vivian angrily leaves, thinking that Evan is cheating. Evan tries to come up with a story to explain the situation. Still, for some reason, Vivian doesn't believe that that's Evan's missing daughter, who was taken from him by Berbers back in 1985 when he was on a mission in Afghanistan. True story. Evan threatens to report a break-in again, and the girls finally agree to be taken home. He drops them off at some neighborhood where they supposedly live. No goodbye kiss? Heh, the mood is ruined. Evan returns home, cleans the mess, and returns to work. Suddenly, he hears a shattering noise. He looks for the noise's source and finds a broken picture frame of his family. Spooky. Was it a ghost? Nah, it's Genesis knocking him out with one of his wife's sculptures. Brutal. Genesis ties Evan up and gets some Harley Quinn-style makeup. I have a feeling the man is more into Matrix than Batman. Belle walks in dressed in Evan's daughter's school uniform. Interesting. Harley Quinn and schoolgirl. Love it. Things begin to get sussy. Then the girls find Evan hiding his phone, so they threaten to FaceTime his wife with him in a compromising position. Thinking this can't get even worse, Evan agrees to get abused by Belle. Well, when life gives you lemons, Genesis records everything. Think positive. You could earn a ton of money on OnlyFans with this content. Our boy Evan is not that helpless. He tries to release himself while being abused. Genesis goes away and Evan uses this moment to release release himself and knock Bel off. He charges at Genesis, but Death Prophet counters Spear Breaker with a fork, stabbing it in his wounded shoulder. She then pins him to the ground. Evan gets unconscious, and both girls tie him up to a chair with an electrical cord. The girls keep torturing Evan by pretending he's on Ellen's show and playing the new Drake album on his headphones. Genesis offers Evan to choose his destiny: go to prison, get castrated, or die. There's one option they're missing: become John Wick. Before he answers, someone rings on the door. Perfect timing. Lewis arrived to collect the sculpture Karen left him in charge of. The girls take Evan's phone and message Lewis saying his niece and her friend are staying over. They hide Evan in a room. Lewis enters using his keys. He goes to the sculpture and Lewis sees it's vandalized. Modern art? Not really. He immediately realizes that these girls are lying about their relationship with Evan. Genesis tries to use her sussy skills on Lewis, but the man is no simp and doesn't fall for it. At least someone has balls here. Lewis finds Evan tied up to a chair, but before he can help, Lewis hears the girls smashing the vandalized sculpture. He runs to stop them but gets an asthma attack and realizes they took his inhaler. Pro gamer move. The girls play monkey in the middle with his inhaler. That's kinda racist. I didn't write this line. When Lewis tries to get his inhaler back, he slips on a piece of the sculpture and knocks his head on the edge. Man down. Genesis and Bel turn his dead body into a red sculpture and get it into Lewis's truck. They write a fake message from Evan's phone to Lewis. They make up a story that Evan found Lewis clapping Karen and that's why Evan killed him. Meanwhile, Evan tries to throw down an Easter egg. Not the best time for presents, man. The girls get back and announce Evan will be dead by dawn. Evan rages. Well, yeah, he made a mistake, but he tried to help girls at first, and they were so sussy. Really feels like he was the victim here. So why did he deserve death? Logic is on your side, bro, but you're messing with two crazy girls. Can't forget that. The girls go to the backyard to dig a huge grave. Evan uses his toast to get an iPad and call his wife, but the girls see it and break it. Brutal. It was a good model. They also reveal they had been spying on him for several days. That's some dedication to clap a man and kill him. I can't explain what Zoomers are up to nowadays. The girls destroy all Karen's sculptures and the whole house because why not? They cut his hair and mess around until finally throwing an egg down. It breaks and they find a gun inside. They untie Evan and decide to play hide and seek. I suppose it's enough fun for today's evening, but the girls are young and, as we know, full of energy. Evan runs away, grabs a knife with a pot, not the best looting judging by Fortnite, and hides in the kitchen. While the girls search for him, he runs outside but slips and falls, losing his precious loot. Well, I guess it's time to die. They bury him in the hole, leaving only his head above ground. Evan begs the girls not to kill him and promises he'll do everything they ask. They play along, calling Karen and compelling Evan to leave a voice message, confessing to cheating. Evan goes smoothly at first but cannot confess and screams to call 911. Come on, bro, is it really worse than dying? Well, there was no voice message either. I guess there's no way around it. Jen is ready to smash his head with the stone until, well, that was just a prank, bro. No one's gonna kill you. Ha, funny. We can clearly see that Evan appreciates the humor. Before the girls leave, they confess they aren't minors, and they do the same trick with lots of men, and no one ever says no. Well, duh. Genesis shows Evan the video of him and Bel being sussy. As a horrified Evan watches, she uploads it to his Facebook profile. Finally, the girls depart and take the dog Monkey with them, leaving a broken Evan trying to dig himself out of the hole he is buried in while watching the uploaded video with comments coming in. Karen and the kids arrive home to see the entire house ruined. Evan's son says, "Daddy had a party," as Karen and the kids remain speechless. Moral of the story? No good deed goes unpunished.